In this video, I'm going to be re-ranking the top 10 best cards right now in NBA 2K23 My Team. As you guys know, we got so many good new cards from Season 6 dropping, so I just want to get you guys an updated top 10 list. I know I did one of these videos just before Season 6 dropped, but just want to get you guys an updated list because it has changed a lot since the last time I recorded one of these top 10s. Be the new level 40 in Season 6, and that is going to be the Dark Matter Hakeem. Quickly going over some honorable mentions. At the point guard position, cards like Jimmy Butler, Cade Cunningham are just going to be barely missing out of this top 10, probably like Jimmy maybe number 11 or number 12. Cards that are big man are going to be Kareem. He's going to be missing out of this top 10 just barely and is very close to a card like Hakeem. And then same thing with the Dark Matter D-Rob, another card that won't be in this top 10 but very close to being a top 10 card in the game. Bill Russell, I don't think he's going to be in here either. So a lot of cards that are very good that are just going to barely be missing out of the top 10. So if you guys want to include those cards in your top 10, I think they're all definitely worthy. Those are just going to be my quick honorable mentions. But at the number 10 spot, like I said, is Hakeem. I like him more than D-Rob and Kareem just because I do like his jump shot more than a card like Kareem, and I think he plays just as good as defense. He's super athletic, but it mainly comes down to his release and also the fact that he can move at a very high level. I know it doesn't really matter too much for your power forward or your center, but the fact that he's actually got some pretty good triple sigs, I think is going to make this card super nice on the offensive end with the Chris Paul escape, the Kemba Walker size up. He's got great dribble sigs. He can shoot the three ball. His tendencies are not terrible as well. So I think Hakeem Olajuwon all around is the 10th best card in the game. At the number 9 spot, I do think Kristaps is just slightly better. That one I was kind of going back and forth with of who I thought was better between Kristaps and Hakeem, but I did decide to go Kristaps just because I think he's a little bit better at that center position. He's 7'3" with a 7'6" wingspan. He might not have the athleticism and he might not have the defense like a card like Hakeem, but he's going to have that really good release. He's going to have tons of Hall of Fame shooting badges and is still one of the best poppers in the game. And also, like, his size is really nice. He's got 3 inches on the height over Hakeem, and then he's also got 3 inches on the wingspan, which you'll definitely notice in game. He's going to look a little bit taller and does have a really good player model. But yeah, I really like Hakeem, and I also really like Kristaps. I think they're two of the best big men in the game. At the number 8 spot, I should say, is going to be the Dark Matter lock-in Dikembe. I think he's just slightly better than Kristaps and Hakeem. I think these three big men are all really interchangeable. If you want to put Hakeem at 8, Dikembe at 10, you want to move maybe Kristaps to number 10, you want to go Hakeem at 8, something like this, you can throw these three big men around. And then same thing with D-Rob as well. Like, I think D-Rob and Kareem could also be somewhere in this mix. Just for me, I like these three guys just a tad bit more. Dikembe 7'2" with a 7'6" wingspan. I think he's the second best center in the game, and he's also going to be really nice at that power forward position. And mainly why I like him at center over Kristaps and over Hakeem mainly comes down to his player model and his defense. I think at that center position, you're looking for a card that's going to be the better defensive card, a card that's got really good height, wingspan, player model, and a guy that's going to be elite on the defensive end. And that is exactly what you get from Dikembe. So in my opinion, I think all around is going to be the 8th best card in the game. At the number 7 spot, moving over to some guards now, is going to be the Galaxy Sean Livingston, who I do think is the best point guard in the game. And I got a lot of questions when I said this earlier on my Twitch of why Sean Livingston is the best point guard in the game. So first off, he's 6'7" with a 6'11" wingspan. You look at his stats, he's pretty much got perfect stats and badges. Can't really notice a flaw except for maybe a little bit low block and a little bit low strength, but other than that, he's pretty much got all the good stats you'd want, at least over a 90. And then he's got some really good Hall of Fame defensive badges. Sure, he could be using a couple more Hoff shootings. That would be really nice to have. So maybe more Hoff defensive badges, of course, that would be really nice to have on this card. But if you go over to his animations, this is where he makes the massive difference over most point guards in the game. So if you're comparing him to a Jimmy, you're comparing him to a Cade, those guys are more defensive orientated and really not going to be that great on the offensive end. So he's going to move a lot better than Jimmy Butler. He just moves a lot better. They both have the Tracy escape, and then he does have the Kyle Lowry size up compared to Jimmy Butler has the Jimmy size up, which is a pretty big difference. And then if we're talking about a card like Cade, he's got way better dribble sigs than Cade, and he's also got a way better jump shot than both those cards as well. So I know you guys are probably using Jimmy, for defense, and yeah, Jimmy Butler will be a better defender. Cade will be on the Sean Livingston type of defense. So I think Sean Livingston is better than Cade and Jimmy. I think it's very close between all three point guards. So if you want to have Cade or Jimmy in this top 10 over Sean Livingston, I think that's perfectly cool to do. Like, it's not crazy. you know, obviously to say those cards are better because they're amazing point guards. And I think that's also something I want to say quickly is like all these top 15 to 20 cards in the game are so close. So if a card, you know, is maybe missed out of this list, like a Jimmy Butler, like a, you know, Kareem, I'm not saying that Hakeem or Kristaps is way better than Kareem or D-Rob. I'm not saying Sean Livingston is a way better point guard than Jimmy and Cade. It's a very slight difference, but I just personally like Sean Livingston a tad bit more than Jimmy Butler or Cade. At the number 6 spot is going to be another season 6 reward card, and that is going to be the Dark Matter Steve Smith. He's an elite 6'8" shooting guard with a 6'10" wingspan. You take a look at his stats, I mean, pretty much perfect except for the 88 block. He's got every single category you would need with at least a 92. You know, he's got like 92 ball handle, 95 speed with ball, 95 driving dunk, really good athletically. He's got tons and tons of Hall of Fame shooting badges. So that's one flaw you could say for Sean Livingston, is that he is missing, you know, 13 Hall of Fame badges compared to a Dark Matter, where Steve Smith is going to have tons and tons of good Hall of Fame badges all around, whether it's for shooting, whether it's for defense. And then you also look at the animations on the card. He's got the LaMelo Ball base, Evan Fournier upper, which I've heard is really nice. He's got that on very quick timing. And then once again, just like Sean Livingston, has the exact same dribble sigs, but he also does have the Trae Young leaner, where Sean Livingston does have the normal. So that's a little bit of a difference as well. I think they're very close in level. I think the fact that he's also got the front clutches is going to be really nice, where if you go to Sean Livingston, he does also have the front clutches. So very similar cards, I will say. I just think Steve Smith is a tad bit better because of the jump shot, but very similar cards in Steve Smith and Sean Livingston. At the number 5 spot, I know it might sound a little bit crazy, but it's going to be this new Galaxy Opal AK-47. I thought I'd never hear that or never say that AK, especially when we saw the cards on the 2K database in the morning on Friday, I thought AK was going to be terrible. Like, I was so disappointed with how bad the card looked because he had no good updated animations. His jump shot was only on quick timing, so it was going to be a bad release. And then they went ahead and probably made the biggest switch in just turnaround with how good a card is with its AK-47. I've never seen a card go from being so bad to one of the best cards in the game. Even if you don't have him in the top 5 spot, I think he's pretty much a top 10 to 15 card in the game for most people. And I'm really high on AK because of his animations. I mean, he's got some of the best dribble sigs in the game. He's got one of the best jump shots in the game. He's got the Trae Young leaner. He's got great dunk packages. I think even tendencies is pretty solid as well, which isn't crazy important, but still does matter. The way that I kind of look at this card and the way that I compare him to other really good small forwards in the game, I would say you take Bill Russell's defense, right? He's maybe not as good as Bill Russell on the defensive side of things, but he's going to be very close with tons of Hall of Fame defensive badges, a really good player model. He's got that Kawhi Leonard motion style, which is the Kawhi Leonard defensive stance, which a card like Bill Russell doesn't have, which is really nice. So you take like Bill Russell's defense, and then you compare him, or you take Bill Russell's defense and then you pair him with Danny Ferry's offense, and that's kind of what I see is what you get with AK-47. Because if you go to Danny Ferry's release, he's got pretty much the same jump shot. It's a little bit different. It is a tad little bit different, but he's basically going to be this type of card where he's Danny Ferry on the offensive end, you know, Danny Ferry's jump shot basically, and then he's Bill Russell on defense. And that's what you get in AK-47, and that's why I do think he's a top 5 card in the game. I think he's the best small forward and all around an absolute beast. Talking about at number 4 is going to be Pink Diamond Taco Fall. I just think because of how glitchy and broken he is, he has to be in the top 5. As much as it's super annoying to play Taco every single game, and I had to buy him for my squad just so I can match against other Tacos, I would rather him and Yao Ming not be in the game, just to make it a little bit more fun for Unlimited, but you gotta have him in the top 5. He's just one of the most broken OP cards in my team right now. Nothing too crazy, nothing too, I would say, fun about this card. He's just super broken in the game. Now, on my number 3 spot, might seem a little bit low, but is going to be Dark Matter Tracy McGrady. I think he's such a good offensive shooting guard. We all know he's one of the most complete best cards in the game. He's 6'8" at that shooting guard position. He's got 7'2" wingspan. I mean, the stats are pretty much perfect. He's got such a good jump shot. He's got great dribble sigs. I mean, there's no real big flaws with this Dark Matter T-Mac. At the number 2 spot, I mean, I'm gonna be going with Yao Ming. I will say, and I always say this in my videos when I do top 10s and talk about these 3 cards in specific, whether it's Terry Dishinger at 1, Yao Ming at 2, or T-Mac at 3. I think these 3 top cards could really go in any which order. You could go maybe Yao at 1, T-Mac at 2, Terry at 3. You could go Terry at 2, Yao at 3, T-Mac at 1. Like, I think these 3 cards are the top 3 cards in the game. You can kind of just rank them in whatever order you want to. I just personally think Terry Dishinger is a little little bit better at the 2 than T-Mac. And then I also do think Yao Ming is really, really good and still super glitchy and one of the most overpowered cards in the game. So that's going to be me re-ranking the top 10 cards in the game. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. If you did, make sure to drop a like and sub down below. And like I said earlier, comment down below your guys' top 10 cards in the game. I just want to see what you guys think and see how our lists do compare. But hopefully you guys did enjoy, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.